going to be a bumpy night.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Laugh Bunker podcast. My name is Josh. Paul, great to see you. This is episode 17.
Yes,
Back with a brand new episode for you guys. So, how's everything? Everything good?
Good. Yeah, we missed last week.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine moved to Arizona.
Uh-huh.
And just a phenomenal person, retired LAPD, State Department, and embassy worker. Just an all-around guy. Did more for my family than anybody in LA. So I helped him by painting his house.
Okay.
Since the whole state was on fire, we were not allowed. So all our permits were canceled. The trip with Moses that we trained, we really trained hard this year for this trip.
You did. You spent most of the summer training for that.
Which, looking back, anyway, it was great. Moses,
it was fun,
No. Moses is, you know what? He is, I don't take people hiking.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'm very selective, but he's been a great hiking partner, and it's a real bum because we were going to really nail this hard mountain, Mount Wilm. And we got our cancellation on the 25th, and we were going to leave on the 26th. Mm. And now they've extended it, and so we were going to go to Joshua Tree this week, but man, it is so hot as it is hot at your house.
Another heat wave. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not going to go to the desert where there's no shade and 100 degrees. Yeah. That's what you watch in movies when people die. Remember Clint Eastwood? Okay, so I don't want to go there. But other than that, it is what it is. Family's busy. Mm-hmm. It's been. I enjoyed painting though. I painted up in Altadena.
Did you do the outside or inside?
Inside.
Okay.
Painted just two bedrooms, like a living room and then a bathroom and a kitchenette. Yeah. And it was, you know what it is when you paint, and I'm very OCD about every single thing, that when people they get paint everywhere or, there's bumps and it works me. So I spent a lot of time mudding. It was very enjoyable, especially because we couldn't go on the trip. I helped out a good friend. So that was my week.
That's good.
What about you?
Good. This week has been fairly quiet, just been taking it easy, focusing on schoolwork, getting, putting a little bit more equipment into the gym. I got a heavy bag in there. I got a new elliptical I picked up. I got a pretty decent elliptical for $180 and a Star Wars figure. So it wasn't bad. About $1,000. Like $1,000 elliptical machine.
Yeah, but what did you say?
Found a guy that was willing to part with it for $180 and a Star Wars figure.
Oh, so your Star Wars figure.
Yeah, one of my Star Wars figures. So it was a pretty good deal on my end. I researched it. It was about a $1,000 machine. So
you know what? I just can't. I'm not coordinated for that.
Yeah, this one's a little bit different. I had to get used to it a little bit, but
does it go up and down or back and forth?
This one's up and down.
Okay, well that's better.
It goes back and forth, but it's got a little bit more of a. It's a little bit more of a step to it than the one I previously had. The other one I previously had was kind of like a swaying motion. I don't know. It was different. Same brand though. So got the heavy bag. Got that all set up. Actually, today I was tying this I was creating this little buffer between the hook and the clamp, and with rope.
So no noise, you mean?
Just so it's not metal on metal.
Yeah.
And it lasts a little bit longer. So I was researching ways to keep your bag lasting a little bit longer, and that was one of the.
How many
methods.
Pounds is it?
70.
70.
Yeah. So it's not that bad. It's
there was years ago I did this Golden Glove thing. I'm not a good boxer. It's funny because I have massive rage now at my age where I could probably kill people, but back then I just couldn't get into it. But this guy came in the gym one time he wanted to spar, and I don't remember how big he was. I want to say he was cruiser. I don't really remember. But anyway, so people were like, who cares? The guy's a punk. He went over and hit the heavy bag, and it didn't even sway. It just went up and down, and that means that dude had a punch that was so sticky. And then everyone kind of went back to doing their shit and totally ignored him. But
how heavy was the bag?
Oh, those are leather bags. So I would imagine that they got to be 90 pounds, 100 pounds, 120. I couldn't. I mean, they're they're almost 6 feet tall.
Okay, those
big ass
long
bags.
ones.
Yeah.
You ever kick them too or no?
No. And they weren't that big. They were probably 6 feet. Okay. At least. But I mean, this is when someone was holding the bag, you're holding it like this. Yeah. Not touching. All the way. I mean, I was looking to get a 100-pound bag, but this is a really good deal for a 70-pound, and I'm doing mostly like it holds up for like a strong punch, and it's more of a cardio-based one. Are you wrapping your hands? Do it.
I haven't. Honestly, I just set it up. I haven't even started using it yet, but I practiced a little bit on it just to test it out. But it wasn't bad.
Oh, anyway, but are you going to do the hand wraps?
Yeah, I plan to get some. Yeah,
it'll protect you. A lot of people. In fact, my friend, we've talked about him before from Chicago, the ex-Chicago Police Department guy, boxer guy. What caused him from going professionally was that he kept breaking these little hands, and the reason that it was, the doctor said, we can't say for sure, was that when he was young, he would work out on the bags without, and they were fractured and had gotten so much calcium deposits that unless they redid it, like put metal or whatever, it was just going to keep doing it. And he said, I'll go to college. So he went to college. He went to college and he was in on that first big computer move back with the Cape. This is way before your freaking time. Maybe not the Cape Pro. You look so young. I forget that. By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you. That was
Sorry, I missed it.
No, it's good. I didn't even. I forgot to mention it. Not that I didn't like.
Let's jump there.
I need to make the announcement or anything like that.
What did you do?
So this was not this week, but the week before. So turned 35. It's a little milestone birthday for me, I guess. It was last Tuesday, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before.
So what date was that?
22nd September. Yeah.
Was that the first day of fall too this year?
Yeah, first day of fall. Okay, interesting. And the last day of, if you're into like astrology or anything like that, your next day you're a Libra. So I'm like right at that little cusp or whatever. So I'm not really into that, but that's another thing.
I don't even know. How many are there?
I don't know. I think one every.
I know that I'm a Taurus.
Is it one every month? Isn't it? I think it's one for every month.
Is it 12?
Yeah.
There are 12 months now.
Yeah, I think there's 12. so there's we had a little family gathering on Sunday. A little kind of just a small dinner with the family here on Tuesday on my actual day. Huh?
So what food did you eat?
The Sunday before my birthday, we had this place that's it's called barbecue. We had barbecue, but it's from this place called Slab. It's over, I think, in West Hollywood. And my brother's lives in Burbank, so he picked it up before he came over. Okay, it's great stuff. Really, really good.
Smoky tasting barbecue.
Smoky. Some of them smoky, especially their dry rub. And then they have like a bunch of different.
How do they cook it?
Brisket and all that. I've never stepped foot in the place. I don't know. My brother loves going there. He highly recommends it. It's one of the very popular.
Do you like barbecue?
Yeah. So
I get it. You like so what would be your choice of meat then? Is it chicken or pork or carnitas or steak or what are you barbecuing?
I like ribs.
Short ribs,
regular ribs, brisket. It's pretty good too. I love brisket.
Have you ever had so in Chicago, big time, obviously, barbecue, especially when you head down to the south side. Some of the best barbecue places were there. Hecky's was one that I really liked, to be honest with you. I did carpentry work for him at one of his shops up north. He had like 40 stops. But they sold these things without the bone. They're just the ends. It's called the rib tips. Okay. It's sauteed and then or barbecued. But when you went on, down on the south side, you would go and there would be lots where there would be guys with 50-gallon drums cut in half, and they would be barbecuing and selling all day. And being a carpenter, we were in all different neighborhoods all over the city. And really, now I think about it, I was blessed to have eaten every kind of food, most of it unhealthy, of course. But we work near Greektown, South Side, Koreantown, up everywhere, and the food was spectacular. So, let me ask you a question. So, with the barbecue, what kind of sides do you like with it?
We had mac and cheese for this one. We had mac and cheese. I think we had some coleslaw, but I didn't have any of the coleslaw. I just had the mac and cheese. And that's pretty much it. I'm good with just a mac and cheese. Like I don't need any real sides.
It's one of the 7 food groups.
Yeah, yeah.
Or at least I like it. So my mom always made coleslaw too. It's like, you got this great barbecue stuff and the mac and cheese, and my grandma made like the old style baked mac and cheese.
Oh, okay.
With breadcrumbs and
that's some good stuff.
And that stuff. And my mom, do you want some coleslaw?
I know.
Why?
Completely change the temperature and taste.
It's just like, and then you have to have that look on your face because when you eat coleslaw, you don't have a natural look because you think it's good, but it's not.
Sure, it's good in like pulled pork sandwiches though.
Oh,
that's when it's good. You just put a little coleslaw in there.
Okay, like you're correct. And also, man, there's another sandwich. Big Deli East Coast. Is it pastrami? No, that's sauerkraut. Sorry, totally different thing. Yeah. So, pulled pork is good. Yeah, I like it better than the chicken myself.
Yeah, I'm a fan of pulled pork. I like that.
Do you know of a good place for that here in LA? Because I've had it since I've been here.
Close by, if you want to, I'll research some family-owned spots that you maybe can go to. But if you want, have you been to Lucille's? It's a chain. Okay, they just started expanding in the last couple of years, but there was only one that was close to me. It's like there might be. Just look it up. Lucille's Barbecue. They're all over the place now.
Where are they from?
The one I used to go to was in Cerritos, and that was the only one I really knew of. But now they've expanded to Montebello and Pasadena. I think they might even have one in Pasadena. But they're so good. Pulled pork.
Is that your number one then?
As far as a chain barbecue spot.
Okay. Yeah. Not mom and pop. Not mom and pop. Okay.
No, this is not mom and pop. But if you want good stuff and you just want to go to a chain that's quick and it's really nice, open place. Well, can't really eat in there now, but good. Lucille's Barbecue. It's really good. They have really good apple butter. They give you apple butter. Okay. And then these biscuits that are just really good. It's a great place. It's a great place to go.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I will have to tell you, I can't think I've had barbecue out here since I've been to LA, and we would have it in Chicago, and there was Hecky's, which I mentioned. But when I'm in Chicago, I'm leaning more toward the encased meat, hot dogs or brats or Polishes.
Those are good pizza. Too.
If they're incredible. And I haven't really. Do you like hot dogs?
I do. Yeah.
So
I do.
What do you put on it though?
Mustard. Sometimes if I'm feeling it, a little ketchup. But mainly, what else? Get some grilled onions on there or whatever. Just kind of like that kind of stuff. Some bell peppers.
Bell peppers. Ketchup's wrong.
Yeah, but sometimes it takes. Sometimes a ketchup. I don't know that little. Sometimes it's good. I don't know. Sometimes I have to go with the ketchup.
You know what happened to you if you put ketchup on a hot dog in Chicago, right?
You know what?
We wouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a famous columnist in the Chicago Sun-Times, and I can't think of his name, but he wrote an article about the sin. And if I knew his name before I started the story, but he said if you put ketchup on a hot dog, it would be a sin. Yeah. I like just straight mustard, or if I'm gonna go, I'll go with mustard and a dill pickle.
That's not bad either. Yeah.
So that would be, and I like Vienna beef hot dogs. Okay. Which, you know what? I'll tell you what. Every once in a while I get a shipment from Chicago.
Yeah.
That sounds. It's a food.
It sounds.
For some of you, let me just say, they're gonna go. That guy's been watching Narcos every day for months. That's a shipment of hot dogs and pizza. Yeah. But next time I do, I'll bring some over. They're phenomenal to barbecue and stuff. So okay. So
the day of, I got some Thai food. Really good place, Banana Bay.
Oh, really? You like it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that your favorite Thai food place?
Yeah, yeah. I love it because especially when the restaurant was open, it's
Mhm.
big, it's wide open, a lot of
Okay.
TV screens. Sometimes they have like some bands playing there, and they're like most of the band members are Asian, or they mix it up and they play like contemporary music or pop music.
Really?
They have a bar, they have a late night bar. They have like these Thai tea. Have you had
Oh
Thai
yeah,
tea?
yeah, yeah. I know Chumbo. Yes, sir.
They'll have spiked versions of that.
Okay.
Like
So
so
does
you're not
that? But so it's caffeine and alcohol, basically. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just really cool. They have fishes, koi fishes everywhere. It's a really cool place. So I picked up there on Tuesday.
What did
And
you? What do you like? What's your favorite Thai food?
I like there's this crispy Hainan chicken. It's chicken like a big slab of like maybe a chicken breast, and it's got like this orange crusted skin on top of it. I don't know how they do it. And then they have like this white rice. It's a little bit like kind of sticky, and then they give you like this this sweet sauce that you kind of glaze almost that you pour over it, or like you dip into it or whatever. It's Hainan chicken. I love that. It's probably my favorite. Yeah.
I like pad thai, standard
That's
chicken
great.
pad thai but I like it spicy. And really, what I love, man, is that depending if I've had a beer or two, is that the sticky rice and peanut sauce.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like the bowl.
Have you had the dessert before? The mango sticky rice, where it's like a piece of mango, and it's like, and then they give you the sweet sticky rice, and then you kind of like
No, what is it called?
mango sticky rice. It's like one of
Uh-uh.
their popular desserts that they have in that kind of type of food.
I don't really eat desserts at restaurants, so it's hard to know. But I will look. There's a Thai place over on Garfield, across from the old theater. Have you ever been there? You know where I'm talking about?
Yes,
Where Maine
the
and
purple
Garfield.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got some
Yeah,
pretty
but
good Thai
Good
food
stuff
there too.
Yeah, they do.
What's it called?
Purple Thai.
Purple Thai.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we went to this presidential Thai on Rosemead one time.
That one's good too. I've been
It
there.
is, but my wife and I, we went to this place called Siam, which was a few blocks from our house.
Siam Noodle and Cafe.
It was Siam Noodle and Cafe.
Uh-huh.
And the food was spectacular. It was family owned. And that's one thing that Chicago has is everything's on a corner.
Yeah.
So in other words, mom and pop ruled in the era that I lived there.
Yeah.
Now, who knows now after this COVID if mom and pop will exist anywhere like they used to.
Yeah.
There's good food out here where you grew up, but you got to drive to it. If you live in New York or some of the big cities, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, when I grew up in Detroit, we would walk down the street 2 blocks to this place called Buscemi's, this Italian, and get a pizza, a square piece of pizza.
Yeah.
35 cents. Pepperoni. But I mean like a slice, and it was the thick, like bread square.
Oh, I like those. Have you been to Petrillo's?
Yes.
I love Petrillo's. I love that place.
I do.
They got that thick, squared pizza, like kind of like what you're talking about.
Have you had Tony's over there by San Marino High School?
Tony's. I don't think so.
It's on the corner of Huntington Drive, and I think it's Del Mar. I can't think of the corner, but they're from Brooklyn.
Okay.
They've been there for 42 years. Well, now plus another 13 since I've been here, so 35 years or 55 years. And they do a thin crust that's very good, but they also do an old school thick square pizza. And the way they caramelize the crust.
Yeah.
And if you like it, then I would say, and it's not that I don't know where it's worth going and getting.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Tony's Pizza, just because it's linked back to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So you like the bread crust over the thin?
Yeah, I do. It depends. It depends on what the mix is, because I think last Saturday, a couple of people came over. Had a friend who his wife and his daughter, he just brought them over from Ukraine. Like he's Ukrainian, but he's been here for like almost 15 years or whatever. He even joined the military here. He's like it's been a long time citizen here, but I went to college with him, and met this girl, and then they had a baby, and then he's been past couple of years trying to get them over. So they came over Saturday. Had other people come over Saturday. Had the fights on just in the back, and then had Domino's. You know what I mean? It said cheap, cheap and good.
You know what?
Listen, cheap and good, man. I love it.
You know what? I hate pizza snobs. Really? Because I'm going to tell you what. If you open any pizza, I don't care if it's frozen Red Baron, you put it on a plate in a room of people, it will not last. It will be gone. There is nothing, unless you got some nasty vegetables or weird stuff, California pizza. They are pretty much supplying everybody in my hotel with food.
Oh, really?
Oh, the amount of wrappers of what I see, and I'm concerned that there's going to be some serious heart attacks in my hotel when I see what I'm picking up with the food.
Yeah.
But also,
Domino's got some really nice, like, flat pizza.
It's okay
with, like,
to
almost
say
no
you
crust.
ate it, but you can't sell it.
I don't know.
You're not going to sell it. But it's good.
Sometimes.
Then was there alcohol beforehand?
Yeah.
Well, see, then that's, once you pop the beer, it's over. Yeah. You are driven to eat whatever it is. And, and that, by the way, I'm on day 7 of no BS, which is no alcohol and no processed sugar for 30 days. Yeah. Okay. So
I've been doing calorie counting. Now, last week it was pretty difficult to do, but
because they were so high.
Yeah, because every other day I was eating barbecue, Thai food, and then pizza. So
you actually had to have a calculator to add it, and you called MIT, said, "Hey, I can't crunch this shit."
I was good the other days, but started doing that, and then what was I getting at? Yeah, I don't know. I just started doing that, and then you mentioned what you were talking about right now, alcohol. Yeah, so no, for me, I was doing the opposite. I'm pretty much having a little drink every day. I've become a major alcoholic over this whole quarantine.
No, and I would say that I've probably drank more from March till this than I normally would have.
Yeah.
And the reason was that I was so much busier.
Yeah, that too. That's a big.
When I'm hiking, so up to 2 weeks ago, before we knew that everything was going to start closing, I hiked 57 miles.
Okay.
But when you drink, and what Moses told me, and Jeffrey also has backed up, when you drink, your body starts shutting down the other processes to absorb nutrition, have healing joints. And so for me at my age, I can't drink and recover. And I think a lot of people, I would have to say that I come from a background where people might not look favorable on drinking.
Okay.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And yet, Jesus made some killer wine.
Yeah, it's true.
I talked to people who worked on his crew too, and lunch was great, all you could eat, and wine. So that sounds pretty good. But anyway,
I've been trying to keep it more towards the whiskey family. I don't know. I'm trying different ones. I just bought Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Really good. It surprised me how good it was. It was not as sweet as Screwball, but still had a kick, and it was like it's so good, man. I don't know. I'm on this little adventure of trying different
I'd like some. Eventually I want to try some of that peanut butter. We're talking about, but no, I would have to say that looking at all the drinking, and I myself would probably lean more towards whiskey. Mm-hmm. And only Jameson, pretty much, just in honor of my grandfather. But I find that I don't know. I guess I like it. It's heavier. I don't have time to drink 50 beers. What I mean?
I don't like the calorie intake anymore from beers and the bloatedness. I just don't do it that much anymore. I'll do a craft beer every now and then, at a restaurant or something. But for me, I prefer to kind of just make a small drink at night or whatever, every other day or whatever I get a chance to, and a lot more now. But yeah, I don't know. I have
a really, I don't know. I have a very high tolerance. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't really drink a lot.
Yeah.
But, and truth is, I didn't have a drink for 22 years of my life. And not because I was alcoholic. I hardly ever drank before then.
Yeah.
I never was. But I think as the older I've gotten, I'm drinking more than I would have. But the bottom line is that I drink like I work out.
Yeah.
And if you were going to make a sentence, that is pretty much it. And
Yeah.
I don't miss the workout.
Yeah.
So in other words, on St. Patrick's Day, which is the one day, and another day, my birthday, and then another day that I will have alcohol on will be on my grandfather's.
Okay.
Which I think his is. What day is the election?
November
The 4th? Okay, his
4th?
birthday is the 3rd.
Okay.
Which will be perfect because I can put myself in a place that I won't remember the election.
Okay.
and everything tied into it.
That takes us to our election. So we were chatting a little bit about the debates and all that stuff. And obviously it's not, we really don't want to get into politics too much, but it was very interesting. Politics. I watched it. You saw highlights. It was for my takeaways. I thought Biden did a little bit better than I expected. I think most people were waiting to see how much flubbering, like how much, how if he was going to complete a sentence at all, how much of the struggle he was going to do. And I thought he got through it pretty well, and he handled a lot of Trump's barrages. And Trump was just a loose cannon. He was almost giving almost zero policy in terms of what he was wanting to do. That was not his MO. It was more of just.
I think his MO was to fluster, Biden.
And I don't think he really did that. I don't think he accomplished that.
No, but I'm saying I think that's what his.
Yeah, and I'm sure take away a little bit from the left wing, far left that were going to try to back him and try to get those. He was jabbing at the far left a lot, so I think. His MO was probably trying to eliminate those votes, get people to stay home a little bit for Biden. But honestly, I give Biden probably the edge just in terms of holding it together, at least giving some sort of policy, and kind of getting through the barrage. I thought a lot better than I expected him to. I give him that. I thought Trump could have easily. Handled the situation. I think he lost the debate mainly because of himself. I think he got in his own way. I think he could have easily captured that middle group of people that are like undecided, and I think he missed the mark. And that's what I think. But it was crazy.
I didn't watch it because
it's so crazy.
Truth is I wanted to have a dental appointment instead.
Yeah, no.
I made the better choice, I think, because the laughing gas was awesome.
I think
so. So I haven't watched. I did not watch it. I read.
What did your wife think? I know she pays a little bit more attention to it. No.
Well, I came home. Okay, yes, my wife would lean more toward the left. And so I forget. I think the debate happened when I was at work, and then the next morning.
She's the type of person that would probably actually watch it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She says she's not watching the news, but every time I come down, it's on the channel when I turn on the TV. Anyway, that being said, my wife is also smart enough to know. So the first time I saw her in the morning. And, in the morning, I'm going to tell you what. I'm not like, I don't jump out of bed and I'm like, happy-go-lucky, man. I got to, smoke, coffee, beans. And I can't get going. I'm tired. Once I work out, I wake up. So I came down that morning. I'm trying to do whatever. She goes, I don't want to talk about the debate. I said, well, I wasn't. I didn't watch it. I don't know anything about it. So
good morning.
She said, I said to her, who won? Tweedledee or Tweedledum? And she said, we are screwed. That was basically her announcement. And then we went on, and I forget what we were talking about. But anyway, you know what it is? Let me tell you what, some of the smartest people I know, you don't know who they are, and they're not public people. They can't really speak. They're not. Let me tell you what, if you make money in sales like Trump or other people, these big type of corporations, everything is a sale. Everything is a show. Everything is calculated. Every word. There is people on every side. Yeah. This is like NFL football. This is just every calculation.
Yeah.
And the truth is, the policy, here's my policy. Guess what I care about? Don't tell me that you're showing up here and that you're a whole different person, because when you look at Biden's background, he's got things like the other guy. And I like this, how we're all, it's this or that. The problem is, man, we have a problem with our political situation on both sides.
On both sides,
there's too much money involved in this thing. And you got these people from other countries, this Soros guy, that are funneling billions of dollars. And unfortunately,
each side has their billionaire backers. Everybody has their agendas.
Voted more Democratic than Republican.
Yeah.
I look at certain areas that are important to me.
Yeah.
They are, how can I make money? No. No, I mean, it's just certain things matter to me, and they're all off the basis of integrity and accountability. Yeah. And I believe in that, because I believe that's how we change things. Yeah. And we're not getting that. And we don't get it because people are paying for it.
Yeah, and I don't like either one. Just to get it, I don't like either one. But I am not a fan of Trump. I can't be for a guy like that just at every chance he gets is completely unpresidential. I can't, and says and when he given the chance to say the right thing, just will not do it for the sake of his base. And I can't like, for the sanity of the country, I can't back a guy like that. Like, as much as I don't like Biden and how crooked he is and all that, at least the guy will say and do the right thing when it's called.
Oh no, I'm not saying he in no way is I'm not saying any integrity. I'm not talking about his family. I don't really know much about him personally. But the problem is, when you sit in the White House and you see things, then I'm going to have a hard time thinking how great you are. And when you get to that level, I hate to say this, I did not vote for that president, our president right now. I pray for him every day that God would change his life and do great things. But I didn't. But, I'm tired of, and I said it before, don't give me this, he's better than. I'm going to tell you what, there's some people in the Democratic Party that are awesome, and they have integrity, and they have morals, and they're shut up by the other people.
Oh, yeah.
And these are facts. And and it's on both sides, too.
And you're talking about the establishment holding down some of their.
I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Hey, and I always say this: term limits on politics.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you what: if you're a U.S. president, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care what you have to say anymore. Mm-hmm. I listened to you for 4 years and flew you around, and you're making my money. But let the young people take over. Let them develop what's going on.
I mean, when you're getting to 80 years old and all that, and you're looking like, one looks like the Crypt Keeper and the other one looks like Jabba the Hutt. I mean, it's like, it's time to call it a day.
The Marvel, man. That's what's going on. They are replicating Marvel world.
Yeah.
I'm on board 100% now.
Yeah, it's like Stan Lee versus, I don't know, somebody, I don't know.
That being said, thank goodness in life we have things outside of that. Your birthday party.
Yeah.
Great stuff, hanging out. I mean, other than everything burning down, you know what, dude? Let's face it. I want someone who's good, but hey, if there's not, guess what? It doesn't change how I present myself to other people, how I treat other people, my workouts, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so, you know what? When you get, I'm going to be 59, you were 35. But once I got to be 50, I'm like, I just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Can't change anything, you know.
And I'm getting to that point too. I'm like, I just honestly, it's all a show. It's all a show. It's all a game.
That too. Yeah. Have fun.
Have fun.
Have fun and do what you want.
enjoy your family, enjoy your time, make the most out of it, and
in a brief moment on this earth.
Yeah.
You know. And so, anyway, that being said, I just try to time.
I wish I would have realized that. Even I know I'm not like, I'm 35, but if I was when I was like 19, 18, you're afraid to kind of make moves sometimes. You're afraid to take chances. You're afraid of
18 and 19, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
See, everybody. See, that's what people don't realize. Think back to when you were at 19 or 18.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And some things you did. And you're like, you're like,
yeah.
Is that on camera? I mean, you're like, wait, have you ever heard of Jack Chick?
Jack Chick. No.
Jack Chick. Okay. Okay, let me just back in the big 70 Christian, big power rock and roll Christian movement back in the early 70s and 80s, the whole deal, which I was part of. There was this guy who put out these, they're called tracts, and they were biblical witnesses.
Yeah.
And they had different characters, but one of the tracks they gave out it had a black cover, and I don't remember the cover.
Yeah.
It was like, "This is your life." So the guy's with Jesus, like in heaven, and going over his life, and like, obviously what's coming up is not the best stuff. So anyway, that's just what I say. So if anything comes out, then it's pretty much whatever.
Another thing I did recently was I went and got my gun permit.
Did you?
Yeah. Went over to there's one gun store. I forgot. I was recommended to mine who was an avid gun person, but I don't know. I just wanted something for the house, safety, and also maybe go shooting sometimes, have fun. I don't.
What kind of what caliber did you get?
I registered I put the order in for a Glock 19.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
excellent. Like the body.
Yeah. Are you like a gun person at all, or are you have you been at one time?
I grew up in Michigan.
Okay.
Now my family. Okay, so my uncles were hunters, but my dad was a fisherman.
Yeah.
So I did more fishing. But all my friends had guns, and we had 22s. I even had a that movie, The Christmas Story, where the kid shoots the BB gun?
Yeah.
That happened to my nephew at my aunt's farm. It actually ricocheted out and stuck in his eye, or it didn't go in the black part of the iris, more into the white. But so I grew up shooting guns, and I had.
No, I didn't. I've been around. I've shot a couple of guns, like in the backyards of family members' houses and all that, but I've never been a gun person. I've never been not a gun person. I've always, thought they were kind of cool, or like wouldn't mind have to own one day. And now I'm like, last week I was like, you know what it's like.
They changed the conversation.
Yeah. They do.
And
it was interesting going in there though. Yeah, it was a small place, but it was really cool. And everybody working there they were all armed, and they were all pretty serious about it. It seemed like the guy that helped me though was pretty chill, pretty relaxed guy, really a younger guy. And then did the whole 3-page 30 questionnaire. Where do you point the gun? And it's like pretty common sense questions.
You know what? When I bought guns, there was not that.
No, well, they do that here.
I'll just let you know that I'm just going to say, so did they, in today's world now, do they take your fingerprint?
Not yet. So I haven't, you have to.
So tell me the process, because I don't really know what it is.
So the process, I go in and I told him, I'm here to purchase a gun. I'm a first time gun owner. I'm looking to get my first one. He's like, okay, cool. Come in, I'll help you out. You have to fill out this, do this questionnaire. It's like a 30 question kind of common sense type of questions about gun safety and some basic gun laws in California.
1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, man. I have spaghetti sauce on.
Oh, really?
And I've been spacing out. Luckily, I had it on low.
Oh, good.
You know how long we've been talking?
Yeah, I know.
It's on the burner.
Okay. It's all bubbling up.
I would have messed the whole... you can even put this in the show, to be honest with you. I would have messed the whole dinner up. So anyway, going back to... dinner is saved. Going back to the gun thing.
Yeah. So you walk in. You go in there. You ask the guy.
Where was this gun store at? What part of town?
Fullerton.
Okay.
Yeah. It was. I'll get the name of it.
Is that Orange County?
Yes, technically yes. Okay. Orange County. So go in there. Found the store. Went inside. Talked to the guy. Did the whole questionnaire. The questionnaire is like kind of like basic, gun safety questions, common sense kind of questions, and like a little bit of like California rule law type. If you have a felony, how long did
class then, or just something you were reading and filling out?
No, reading and filling out, but like multiple choice. And then
someone's life is on the guns.
Well, in some places you don't even have to do that, so it's just like it was 30 questions, multiple choice. Did it real quick, filled out the information, gave him it back. He even said he went over the ones I got right and ones I got wrong. I think I got out of 30, I got 25 right. And the ones I got wrong were kind of like you can interpret it. I don't know. It was the questions, the way they interpret the questions and the answers. I didn't really get them wrong. And so did that, and then he has you. So he's like, "Oh, okay, you passed." And then you fill out. You sign this little, signature sign. It's like the front of your license. And I don't have my wallet here, but they do that, and then you sign that at the front of your card. It says California State, like a license for gun owner. And then they on the back, I think they put where you got it from, and then they just laminate it, and then there's your card. So I put the order in for the Glock. Now you don't.
How much was that?
Well, I haven't paid yet. So
but how much will it be?
It's around 500. Yeah. And then you put the order in. If they had it on, like in hand right there, they had it in their inventory, I would have probably had to wait 10 days. I would have paid it there, did the background check, filled out the stuff for the background check, and then waited the 10 days in order to pick it up. So as long in that 10 days, they do the background check, and I guess there's a law. You have to wait 10 days in order to actually take the gun home. So, and I had a friend who told me that you can have like two handguns and maybe a long gun. You could buy 2 or 3 guns at one time, but
rifle, not a long
rifle. Gun. Yeah, there you go.
Long gun.
No, he
stopped that term in 1782.
He said long gun. I don't know.
Yeah. Was he from America?
Yeah.
Sorry,
but he does. So yeah. So there that was all pretty. Basically, the whole process. I went in there. It was pretty. It's a little intimidating going in there. And you're just. But everybody's fairly relaxed. They're all wearing masks and armed. You have to see the guns on their hip, and it was pretty cool though.
My sister is talked to me about getting a gun. In fact, last week or within the last couple of weeks, and what I thought about it. She lives in Michigan, so it's obviously a little easier than here in LA. Yeah. The last gun I bought in Michigan, I walked in, and I bought a Ruger Mini 14.
Uh-huh.
You know what that is?
No.
You remember the new A-Team?
Yeah.
Show movie?
Yeah.
The old one they shot Ruger Mini 14s.
Okay.
And I worked with this when I was asked not to come back to Bible college till I got it together. And so I worked with this guy in Michigan, and I worked with this guy who was all into this. He read this magazine called Gung Ho. I mean, like this military, paramilitary. He was an ex-Marine or something, and he was like, he had this big Bowie. I mean, he's just like, out of control. So he sent me to this gun store outside of Grand Rapids. I don't even remember where it was now.
Yeah.
It was $379.
Yeah.
And what he was going to do then is take me to his friend that would put this machine piece in the back, and it would make it fully automatic. and that's and that shoots the 5.56, which is the M16 military round. And so I don't know why, but I bought it, and it was in the trunk of my car. So I'm driving around with this. I didn't have any bullets with it, but I was driving around. So somehow I left the trunk up, and my dad comes in and goes, "Is that a gun in your trunk?" Now, can you imagine what, you're like, what the heck? So he made me get rid of it. And it was funny when I took it back, because they bought used guns also. They will not, at this time, would not, they wouldn't take it back unless they went down into the range and put one shot through it. They wouldn't buy it that it hadn't been fired, and then after that, then they bought it used. But we grew up, and then when I moved to Chicago, and worked at that church, I mean they had a lodge, like a retreat center, that was this killer oak lodge down in Missouri, and I mean the amount of rifles. I mean, we make pipe bombs there. I mean, we were just totally blowing stuff up and shooting stuff and whatever. But it's funny because Rich, he can carry, so he would hike with the gun, and I'm like, I said, why? He goes, just in case. And I'm like, what don't I know here? I mean, like what's going on this trail, man? That you need to be like that. He goes, what about a bear? I said, I guess, I don't know. Seems like that would piss off a bear. And you're going to pay. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll be interested. So where you live, where are the ranges that you shoot at?
Oh, I don't know. There is, there's one in Montebello on the border of like Montebello and Rosemead area, like that area by the 60. I know there's one there. I think there's one.
I would think out in Fontana and all that.
Oh area. Yeah, definitely out there. There's a few around here where you can go. But
probably
no. If you go by the 60, you can hear the pops. It's like
really?
yeah. They have one over here. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Do you have any at your home?
Shot before?
Huh?
No. What did you say?
Do you have any guns at your home?
No.
Right. No. Okay.
I have no guns in California.
Okay.
None.
Okay. Now I went through the process of like sometimes people complain about the rules here, and I'm like, honestly, I didn't think it was that bad.
That's what I was going to ask you. So, in Chicago, all my friends who live in Chicago, all their guns, they don't have any guns in the city. So their guns are all up in either in Indiana or up in Wisconsin. I mean, these are all hunters, and just people have
but they go out there they have them for specific reasons. I don't.
Oh yeah. But you can't have a gun in Chicago.
Okay.
And when I went back last time, even on my church door, there's a no pistol sign.
Okay.
In every grocery store.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting because there's always the debate about gun control.
Yeah.
And what you said is right on. And this is where our politics we were talking about.
It gets politicized. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a legitimate person, you wouldn't care if you had to wait 30 days. Who cares, right? Yeah. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah, but it's like everybody has to gripe about these rules and regulations in some of these states like California. And I went through the process, and I don't have any criminal record. And I'm like, they told me, I have to put the order in, and then you have to do a 10-day waiting period. I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Because it's just. You know what? I'm not making any comment either way as to what my best suit is, but it's about respecting people.
Yeah.
And there's bad people and these people that do these horrible things. There's more to these stories that we do not know.
Yeah.
I mean, what would drive someone? I mean, literally when I'm used to drive to LAX and back, I wanted to shoot everybody on the highway. But other than that, I would never shoot a person.
Sometimes you wish you have that
oh my gosh.
That firing rockets out of your
rockets, 50 caliber machine guns, pistols, roll down the window, whatever a turret for the passenger to shoot people, whatever.
Have like a, I don't know what it's called, but like a little almost like the snowplow.
Yeah.
Right in the front. That'd be great.
Perfect. Well, yeah, that way if you miss,
Loud
you can
people.
just crush the people.
Crush the
It's
people,
a right on. It's heavy on bad. It's bad gas mileage though.
Oh yeah,
That's
true.
the problem with
Short
the heavy.
distance, short distances.
So,
Yeah.
like we just said, so okay, so then people say, "Oh, you don't need these clips and this," and I said, and I'm like, "Well, why don't you just get the top hunters in the world? Okay, put them in a room and say, give me a list of what we need for this game, and then just keep it at that." But no one talks to this. It's like we have this weird dichotomy, and there is bad people who have weapons, obviously.
And obviously, people are going to get a hold of illegal weapons and you're going to get a hold of illegal drugs when drugs are illegal.
Hey, if you're carrying a gun in Chicago, it's illegal.
It's illegal.
You're not if you don't have your guard, and yet right now they're up. I just saw Chicago stats. Their murder rate is up 39% over last year, and it's in all the big cities, and it's becoming, in fact, even where I used to live in Chicago, I mean, it's becoming, they even put those big cameras up where they watch everything because it is becoming dangerous. Anyway, good for the gun.
And to me, I'm like that 10-day waiting period. Let's say somebody wanted to actually go the legitimate route and doesn't know somebody that can give them illegal guns. That 10-day waiting period, if they wanted to really do something bad, maybe in those 10 days, they'll rethink it.
It's just, hey, they know everything about you. So obviously, if you ever, medical marijuana, no. Though people on marijuana don't shoot anybody. That people on alcohol shoot people and drugs. But people on marijuana, they don't get off the couch.
They don't get off the couch.
That's why they don't have.
They're
that's why
watching
they don't have
They're watching narcos like us.
they don't. That's why I don't have them in the Middle East, because no one's going to blow anything up if you're sitting on your couch. It's not going to happen. Everyone's peaceful. But anyway, I'm interested to know your deal. The one time when we did this short film I did about the war movie, we went and shot all their stuff. We went up, and it was interesting because a lot of people on my crew were like, yeah, why are you talking to guys who want to dress up like Germans? And so I started saying, why are you Germans instead of like Americans or doing it? Yeah. And almost 90% and they were World War II reenactors is what they were. So they were on a national circuit, and they said, yeah, we'll be in your short film if you take professional video or footage for us that we can use on our websites to get more gigs. And so we did that. So afterwards, anyway, I asked these guys, 90% of them were Civil War. Beforehand, they said, you know what it's like to be putting that stupid bullet in instead of just shooting the shit out of stuff? And he goes, look how cool this stuff is. Look at the machine guns. And so later that year, we went up. Yeah. They had a big barbecue. So we went up and we shot all that stuff and drove, the tanks and dude, that was stinking. Yeah. And you know what? We could not hear. I don't think I could hear for 2 days. I mean, we were doing round after round on this 75 millimeter. It's not a howitzer. Their German gun is something different name, but it's 7. I mean, this is the shell. Yeah. Wow. One after another, and then the machine gun with the belts, and I mean, it was stinking. But literally, and there was great beer and food because you're in Wisconsin, so it was a perfect day. Yeah. But anyway, that being said, that'll be cool. Just all I have to say is put a lock on it. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get like a pretty hefty container for it. So yeah. Only because I got the little one around. I don't want him getting into it, especially when he gets older. He's gonna get more curious. So nah. I know I watch it every week, but I love that scene in Witness where the kid goes into the drawer and pulls out Harrison Ford's gun, but it's loaded. Yeah. Oh, okay. Steaks, and then Kelly McGillis comes in. Yeah. And on that note, we'll move into some entertainment. Wait, what have you been watching? Okay, you first. You go first. You want me first or you first? I'll go first. Well, go ahead. All right. I watched Social Network again. I just love that movie. Nice. Love that opening of that movie. It's so good. The music, all of that. There's no weak moment in that movie. No, I love that movie. So I watched that again. 1 week moment. When they're in, they're in the courts. That they're given their whatever you call that. What do you call it? Starts with a D. I'm brain dead right now. Yeah, the deposition. Depositions.
Yeah.
So they're given the depositions going back and forth, and it talks about, and it cuts to there after he took down the internet at Harvard with the matching the girls.
Oh yeah.
So he goes, everyone leaves the room except for him, and he's on his computer, and Rashida Jones.
Oh yeah.
And she goes, it got 2,000 hits. And he looks over and says 200,000. And she goes, wow. It was just, it didn't, I'm sorry. I know that
it didn't fit the mood of the film. Yeah.
It's like, kind of threw me off.
That was the only, like,
yeah,
I agree.
It just seemed like, okay, you're in here because you're the specialist brought in.
Yeah.
He was the specialist.
Yeah.
And she would have known that it was 200,000. The difference of 200 anyway.
That's true.
Picky as hell.
I think she redeemed herself in the last scene though, when she's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's a speeding ticket. Just pay them.
Hey, it's Aaron Sorkin wrote it, and I think, and David Fincher and his touch on. You know what truth is? I've probably watched that movie 20 times, maybe, and parts of it maybe 30 or 40 every time it was on.
The club scene, him and Justin.
What's your favorite part?
I the club scene. Honestly, one of them.
Where is that? That's in Frisco, right?
I think it's up north. It's not my favorite scenes, but it's one of my favorite scenes.
You know what's cool? No. What does he say?
$1 billion. Well, he tells a story of the Victoria's Secret creator, and then. So that I love that scene. I love how the music is louder than the voices.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a nice touch. I even like another Timberlake scene when they're at the dinner table, and before he leaves, he says,
Facebook.
Take the remove the just Facebook. It's cleaner. Yeah, that was really
okay. But this is what I didn't understand. Okay, I look at things differently. So he wants in all the time. He wants to get rid of Eduardo.
Yeah.
Obviously. So he moves across the street. Okay. So he moves into this house.
To me, that was a weakling.
They're pulling down so in one scene, if you're pulling down, okay, I'm giving 3 scenes at this house.
Yeah.
People doing massive bong hits.
Yeah.
Chimneys coming into the pool. And the guy who wants to get in your company rings the doorbell with the chick who can't catch the beers.
Yeah.
Or the woman who can't
the short hair girl.
Short hair girl. And dropped 2. She dropped 2 beers. And you don't know that this guy's moved across the street in your house? Yeah. So that was the one thing that seemed. Didn't he say he was across the street?
To me, I think even more than Rashida Jones's first scene was that scene where it's like he didn't did he know he was across the street and he was faking? He was acting like he didn't know he was across the street, or did you just kind of make it convenient for the movie that he was just across the street to speed up the process?
If he knew and he was playing in the game, then he would know Eduardo wasn't never there because he asked his first question.
I think it was maybe just a speed up of the storyline. What really happened?
I agree. Anyway, so you are correctamundo with the a scene over the Rashida scene.
Yeah.
But other than that, the Arnie Hammer playing the two guys. And actually had different personalities.
Yeah.
So one was like, I want to beat the crap out of. Remember, he breaks
more aggressive than the other. Yeah.
The scene with the president of the university and how they got in here. Can you punch me in the face to his assistant? I mean, dude.
I like it when he's like, before he commits to suing him, and he's like, why can't we sue him? And then the other one walks away. He's gonna say it's stupid, and then he's like, what? He's like, because we're gentlemen of Harvard, and he's like, yeah, I love that scene. You thought that was stupid?
And even the opening scene with Rooney.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Sister, and this is really the movie that she's building off of for her career. And I thought that was. Truth is, I loved it's even though we make points of these little scenes because we've seen it, but the truth is, it's a great movie.
Yeah, 99% of the movies
we don't talk about a lot, or we haven't. With Seven, his films are so you would almost agree he's involved in every process, because
detail.
Even when he's making the website for the first time in the and even the opening when he's running toward his dorm room, he's in there. The lighting is very much like Seven. High contrast and really muted colors.
Yeah, it's I love how you get a feel that you're really in Harvard and you're on campus with him, and you're getting to see the campus. I think there had to be really on campus. You're getting to see the campus, and like you're going through the campus along with him, and like I'm looking while he's walking. I'm looking at the campus itself, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice right here. And I'm like really enjoying the walk through the campus.
I mean, If you asked me if I could do anything, that would be one thing I would want to do would be go to school there.
And go to a school like that? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, to be on that level and I agree. I thought it was. Isn't Harvard is Harvard the oldest university?
Not one of the. Yeah, I think so. The oldest. I
thought two might be William and Mary, but I can't. I'm only throwing that out there. But yes. You get a feel of everything. And I love how it cuts to the board meeting.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I think I deserve some commend. I don't understand which part that you deserve.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was phenomenal. And the actor, and I think Andrew Garfield.
I think he was great in that movie.
I thought he did a good job and good choice. Yeah. Excellent choice.
And
David Fincher movies are movies to watch.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were just talking before we recorded. We were talking about Zodiac and the actor.
Yeah, look at your color contrast in that movie too. He has a style.
Yeah,
excellent.
We're chatting about John Carroll Lynch, and I think it's one of my favorite character actors that just pops up everywhere. Another movie I watched of his that he was in was it starred Susan Sarandon and Natalie Portman. It was which I like the movie. I just wanted to see some type of 90s family drama movie. Just felt like it. It was
your life, huh?
Have you seen the movie I'm talking about? It's let me see. Let me get the name of it. I don't know why it's Anywhere But Here. Have you seen it?
I can't say that I have. Maybe I have.
I thought it's a great movie. You have Susan Sarandon, who plays this like eccentric. So they're from Wisconsin, I believe. Yeah, I think it's Wisconsin. And she wants to move. She plans to move over to Beverly Hills in California. It's just her and her daughter. She's divorced. She's a divorcee. She's a school teacher. But she's this very like this larger than life kind of personality, kind of eccentric mother. And Natalie Portman's like this like teen kind of brainsy kind of like just like is complete opposite from her mom, and the movie is pretty much their journey moving over there and then adapting to that new life, and then her growing up while she's in high school in Beverly Hills, and then her mom's like one of those like they'll live in an apartment and then they end up losing the apartment, and then but she plays it off like they're like we're not losing the apartment, we're moving to something better type of person. And it's just a good movie.
I like her, by the way. I've always liked Susan Sarandon a lot.
Check out the movie. I think it's on I saw it on Hulu, I think.
Well, we'll put it on our site.
Our recommendations, yes. I love the movie, and John Carroll Lynch plays one of her boyfriends or a date that she goes on, and there's a really good scene where it's John Carroll Lynch, Natalie Portman, and Susan Sarandon, and Natalie Portman's talking about wanting to go back east for college, and Susan Sarandon's like, they almost get into like this argument of, no, you're going to go to UCLA, you're going to stay in LA, you're going to stay near me. And she's like, no, I want to go back east. And then kind of John's character is kind of like super nice guy that's caught in the middle. You know what I mean? It's a great scene. I love that. I just love the movie. It's such a good movie. I love Susan Sarandon's her and Natalie Portman's relationship. In
I liked her for years. Yeah. I mean, the truth is, and
so I highly recommend it. Now it came out in '99. The only problem I had with the movie, really, I mean, I'm not picking apart the story or anything like that. And it's a small little detail. It had a little bit too much of that '90s alternative rock in it, which I thought kind of threw me off sometimes in some of the scenes. And it was here and there throughout the movie. It wasn't a constant.
So, like who? Give me some names of bands.
Not even anybody big. Not even any popular brands that I knew. They weren't songs that you would recognize. They were just sound like they're from that era. And for me, it threw me off.
You know, the 90 music scene was just a break from all the rock and roll and drugs and sex of the 80s. They had to recover for a few years before moving on.
For me, it kind of just, I don't know, I don't want to say it cheapened the movie. But when you have such a good story and it like to throw that kind of music in it,
my wife likes films that don't have a lot of music. To be honest,
personally, I think it too. It dates it sometimes, and but check it out. I think it's a good movie. That's another recommendation for me. Godfather, I watched just to finish out. I watched The Godfather again this week, and Training Day. Then which I watched that last night too, and I was just like, I love that movie.
I do, and I love the I like the movie. I love the scene with some of the upper cops. Tom Berger's there. It's the way really what they're telling him and what they're saying, so that it can't be recorded or used against them. It's so subtle and it's great. It's great dialogue screenwriting.
It definitely, and that honestly, Denzel's portrayal where he plays this like you never know if he's a good guy or bad guy from scene to scene, and how he can switch from like he just shot this guy he shot this guy in his house, and then he has this dramatic emotional scene with Ethan Hawke in the car telling him, you got to change him from the inside, son. And then the next scene, he screws him over when he takes him to the Cholo house. You know what I mean?
I love because isn't one of the guys with the guy with the shotgun, or no, the guy with the shot, not the head guy, but the other guy who's holding him down is, Breaking Bad.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And he was also in
the main kind of Mexican gangster guy, the head of the household. He's not even Hispanic. He's from New Zealand. So he plays such a great.
Oh, it's right on.
Yeah, it's right on, man.
I worked as the carpenter with this guy named Luis, and he lived down there in San Pedro area, Long Beach. So he invited me to a barbecue, but it was the goat.
Uh-huh.
They were barbecuing at Barra or whatever, the goat. Okay. So I went down there.
Birria.
Yeah. And so I pulled up to the house, and it looked like the front of that house in Training Day.
Yeah.
So I pulled up, and I called him and said, is it cool for me to come in? I mean, is this cool? And he goes, they'll just think you're a cop. I said, I don't know if that's going to be good right here. Can I just be your friend?
No. Yeah, I obviously, I could go into some of those neighborhoods a little bit easier than you can, but we all, I think, growing up, at least most of us, especially being Hispanic out here, like you have family members or friends or have been in houses and areas and know people that are kind of have like that. So I thought it was pretty spot on. Like when you're looking at that aspect of the culture, or that aspect of like, because there's different shades of like Hispanic culture, and then like that's one culture, but I thought they got it right. Just the look, the feel, how a house looks, how some of the people in there look, and it's just like I thought it super authentic in the way they captured that, because I've been in houses like that, and I have a family member or two that look like that.
I've been in houses like
that. I have a family member or two that look like that. And I thought it really captured.
I've partied in houses like that. So, I'm familiar with that. You know what, though? I'm going to tell you what. I was thinking about this the other day. I there's something very. I like the Hispanic culture.
Yeah.
There's something. It's a very masculine. It's tough. And I like it. And the people I've worked with, and the men, I mean, it's just fun and whatever. But it's interesting because obviously I come from the Polish and Irish, but it's what I notice is the what I can relate to is that because of the heavy Catholic background, coming from Latin America and Hispanic, it's very much like the Irish. You understand? It's
very much so. Yeah.
The family units, like when I grew up in Detroit, every family member was at Christmas. Yeah. I mean, there was 10,000 people. You know what I mean? So
I think culturally, they have a lot in common. I think
that. I like that family feeling, and it's very cool. Anyway, the only problem with Training Day is that Denzel Washington was that character for 5 years. He screamed, and like when Al Pacino played Sent for the Woman. Hey, you got your Oscar thing. That's awesome, man. But guess what? You screamed in Heat. You were the same character, but you could see. The only difference is you could see exactly. So anyway, hey, but Denzel Washington, phenomenal. I think that he is. I mean, Denzel Washington is. I mean, he's in that. He's the upper echelon. That's it. Upper echelon, a lot of people, we're talking about, Jack Nicholson, Marlon Brando. We're talking about the greats.
And that was one of the first times, and it's weird. It's interesting that he got the Oscar for that role, but I could see it watching the movie again. It's just like he plays such.
Okay, so what's your favorite Denzel Washington movie?
Let me look up some of his films. Well, his performance in Training Day is just so iconic. But Man on Fire, when that came out, I loved his performance in Man on Fire. I love the movie.
Yeah, I love the biblical imagery also with that, and because it goes with the torn. I also love anything that Christopher Walken in, even if he's in for a second, whispering into the ear, whatever.
Another movie, Fallen. Did you ever watch that one?
That's a supernatural movie, right?
Yeah, he's a detective, and it's like there's like I don't know if it's an angel or a demon or whatever. Kind of, it's like a supernatural thing. I love that movie, Fallen. That was one of my favorites of his. And He Got Game, which is kind of like a basketball '90s film.
Son,
he plays. He just got out of jail, and he's like trying to build a relationship. His son's like on the cusp of going into the pros, and like that type of thing. I love them. Those movies are some of my favorites of his.
Okay, so I'm going to go all the way back to Glory.
Yeah,
because not only is it a great film, but he's from the stage, and so his presence is powerful. And there's a scene in there where I think he's going to be whipped, and he turns around and he looks, and that moment of look, man, is just so freaking powerful. Yeah. I mean, I go back to him on St. Elsewhere. I love that hospital show, so I go all the way back to that.
He's a great actor.
Brief with Julia Roberts.
I remember when that came out.
Movie. It was big time. But for me, the performance, and I've talked about it a couple times, was his performance where he directed himself in
The Fences?
The Fences.
Yeah.
And just the performance, I related to it. And you know what? I heard, and I've tried to find this many times, but I heard that he read the Bible on tape. And I just love his voice. And you know what? Truth is, he seems like a great guy, and his work is just spectacular. I mean, he's iconic.
He's iconic, and his son is making his son is doing pretty well for himself too. I want to say
I saw him in Black Klansman, correct?
Black Klansman, the Christopher Nolan movie Tenet that just came out, and
you saw Tenet?
No, I haven't seen it. And he was a regular on the show Ballers on HBO.
Okay,
the one of the main cast. Yeah, the main cast members on there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, plus, I would imagine that Denzel Washington doesn't put up with BS.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go into acting as his son, you're going to
You better go.
You better do it, because he just seems like that kind of guy that and that's why his performances. I mean, he goes back to stage all the time.
Yeah.
and I respect that on every level.
Yeah.
And the truth is, he is iconic.
Yeah.
And but a lot of these guys, they do a lot of bad movies too. All our favorite people.
Oh, yeah, they do. One Denzel
together.
movie that stands out to me that was pretty bad was where he played a comp, and it was I don't even know how to pronounce it came out in '91. It's Racket. I think it was it's Ricochet. Ratchet. I don't know. You know how to pronounce the freaking thing.
I don't even know.
It was Denzel and John Lithgow.
Uh-uh.
It's pretty. It had Ice-T in it. It had John Lithgow and Denzel. It's a pretty. Look it up real quick. It was not a very good movie. It was okay, but it had some kind of out there scenes, very kind of cheesy. And there was at times in the movie you could tell that they were really at this time trying to push Denzel as a leading kind of sex symbol.
Okay.
There's a lot of scenes with his shirt off. I would just say that too.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No. Okay. So, I like Gloria, but we can't forget about Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's a great one too. And
really, the movie wasn't the best, but his performance in Flight, I thought was. And you know who turned down that role was John Travolta.
Really?
He told me he turned it down because there's no way that plane could fly upside down like that for so long. And I said, I don't know. How about Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Come on. How about Remember the Titans?
Yes, that's another classic.
And I thought Inside Man.
Oh, I love Inside Man.
Spike Lee movie.
Love it.
He played a cop totally different than he has ever been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought I love Clive Owen too. So
I own that movie.
movie.
I bought that movie because right after I saw it, I bought it, and I was like, oh, I loved it.
How about The Hurricane?
Oh, that's a great one. Another great one. Another classic right there too.
Okay. It's funny because, we weren't prepared for this to talk about Mr. Washington, but
but definitely
when you look at his Cry Freedom, Courage Under Fire, Manchurian Candidate,
Crimson Tide.
And I was just going to go. That was my next one.
Yeah.
That Gene Hackman is the man, and when you stand up to him and you're holding the deal, those scenes between those two are powerful. And isn't Viggo Mortensen? They got a lot of great
that's right.
Soprano guys on that film also.
Yeah, James Gandolfini.
And so this guy's got
Courage
too
Under
much.
Fire. That was a great one too.
Yeah, that's because they were rebuilding. Remember, Matt Damon is that drug addict, and he's weighs what, 120, or he's down to nothing.
Yeah, I think you got Lou Diamond Phillips in there, a young Lou Diamond Phillips. A lot of my wife and a lot of kind of horror thriller people like The Bone Collector with him and Angelina.
With, Angela Jolie, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Another one here that I really liked was Soldier Story. And that goes way back to '84.
Okay, I don't think I've seen Soldier Story. Yeah, no, I haven't seen Soldier Story. Oh, The Preacher's Wife. I remember that. I watched that one. That was a good one.
But I'm going to have to go with my favorite is going to be Fences, just because it related to me personally, and it's not that there's any other part of his. He's done great, but I just thought to direct that and make it so powerful.
Yeah,
excellent. And I loved his wife in this movie too, Viola Davis.
Oh yeah,
she is just a powerhouse.
Yeah,
I think she could beat me up. I actually do. But that's not saying that I'm an old person. But anyway, it's just.
So, do you want to throw in any? I know we obviously I want to give Denzel his due because we didn't expect to talk into Denzel's filmography, but
talk about
we could
we could go 5-6 weeks in a row off movies, definitely.
Anything that you've watched recently that I've been watching Narcos too, finishing up the second season. But anything else that you've been watching?
Well, I've been
recommendations of the week.
I went ahead and I watched the NFL.
Okay.
I watched the Chiefs and with the Ravens. I'm a big fan of this Mahomes kid.
Okay.
He's got the gun. I was right on about the other dude, though. He ain't. You know what? Let me tell you what. He's a one-ticket pony. He doesn't have the arm strength, and he's a runner guy, and these running quarterbacks just don't last.
Yeah.
But Mahomes looks like he's having a good time. So I watched just one game. I watched a half a game. I watched, Gladiator again. And really, but one thing I watched
for Gladiator, did you see the scene?
Which one?
The end one at the end, where I told you that the
where they carry him off the thing?
No, the old guy died, and then how they CGI'd his face in the last scene he was in during production. The handler of the gladiators, the older man. Yeah, where he died during production.
Oh, okay.
They CGI'd his face into his last scene.
About somebody else, but I will look back on that. I love that. Ridley Scott, man, the guy is also a director we could talk about with Alien and Blade Runner. He directed Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, he did, huh?
I did. That's one of my wife's favorite movies, and that's what introduced Hollywood to Brad Pitt. Remember?
Yes.
And but I did watch one of my favorite movies, and I know it sounds like I have a lot, but The Devil Wears Prada is
I love that movie.
Favorite movies. I love it. Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and my favorite actress right now, Emily Blunt.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. So I
love two scenes in there. I mean, the whole thing building up and whatever. Yeah. 3 scenes. One, when she goes for the job interview afterwards.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep says that she was the biggest disappointment I've ever had. And then if you don't hire her. And then the other one was when she called Emily Blunt to have all her clothes picked up.
Yeah.
And then she tells the other girl, "You got big shoes to fill."
Yeah.
And Stanley Tucci
Tucci's great in that.
Up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I haven't read the book, but obviously it's based off Anna Wintour, the famous fashion lady
editor.
And,
I love the movie, and I love what else I love too, because I've always been kind of intrigued by the fashion world a little bit, especially those elite kind of people. I don't know, for whatever reason. I'm not big into fashion myself, but I like that world. I love that creative world, and I love diving into some of these creative worlds that you don't know much of. And
all the money there.
Yeah, and this movie kind of gives you that as a backdrop to just a really good movie in either way, and a great cast. So I love it. It's one of my favorites, definitely.
It's I watch it all the time, and my wife turned it on, and then my wife watches movies and watches TV programs or serialized dramas on Netflix when she's doing her schoolwork, grading, just doing, all the emails, whatever. So she had it on. I loved it. And Meryl Streep, to make the choice not to have makeup in that scene.
Yeah.
Where she comes in and there was nothing said. And that lady, she has, do you know how many Oscar nominations she has?
Oh, she's almost like nominated like every year, man.
21.
No, she's always
22
nominated.
Golden Globe nominations.
Yeah.
I mean, she is spectacular in everything she does. And Anne Hathaway holds her own, but Emily Blunt, Tucci, and Streep in that office, they just rock it. I really great choice. And then I watched I've watched so much stuff, but I watched Dazed and Confused.
Oh, I love that movie.
Which is just a biography of my high school years.
Yeah. I just love seeing how many people came out of that movie.
Well, it's kind of like your Fast Time at Ridgemont High that launched all those careers. The Outsiders, the Coppola with Cruise and Patrick Swayze and the Karate Kid dude and all that. So it's just, you had, what was the movie? It's not 16 Candles. It's where they're in the detention.
Yeah.
It's one of the big movies, and I can't think of it offhand. Breakfast Club. We're introducing... Yeah. So it's that kind of movie.
It's that kind of movie.
Think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got Ben Affleck in there. You got Matthew McConaughey, and your favorite, the Jovovich, the Miller.
Yeah.
She looks the same.
She looks the same.
Weird. Yeah. Adam Goldberg's in it. And Richard Linklater is the director. He also did School of Rock with Jack Black, which is one of my favorite Jack Black movies personally.
Yeah.
And then I watch. Okay, so my wife recommends a show every week. So this week I watched the pilot and first episode of Nurse Ratched. It's the Ryan Murphy show. It's taken off the semblance of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
It's the famous book by Ken Kesey.
Yeah.
Now, are you familiar with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes, I am. Jack Nicholson.
Well, we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to highly recommend to watch this movie because the acting. I mean, Christopher Lloyd from Taxi's in it. Yeah. Danny DeVito. It is Scatman Crothers. I mean, it is, and Jack Nicholson, and with the doctors, it is why there is the Oscar and why there is Hollywood.
Yeah.
And but compared to the show, Ryan Murphy does a lot of work.
Yeah.
You cannot be great on everything because there's too much.
Yeah.
Now, he did Nip Tuck, correct?
Yeah, I was a fan of Nip Tuck. I like that show.
Those two actors were killer.
They were.
Loved them. And then when he did Glee.
Oh, that blew up like.
Well, my wife,
show.
Theater teacher, of course, it was on. That's been my life, by the way, for many years. And I thought that the pilot of that show was one of the better pilots ever done in TV. And I thought the show was great. And then the first American horror.
Yeah.
Got McDermott in it, and it just was. But then he started using the same people over, especially Sarah Paulson. And I'm getting ghosted back. I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
It just seems almost surreal. It's almost like a graphic novel of a great film.
Okay.
I'm not saying the performances. And he just did the Hollywood thing. So
I'm
created with this nostalgic, and I'm not separating it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time separating this and that. So have you've seen the show or no?
I haven't seen the show. I've seen the promos on Netflix. They've been promoting it a lot on Netflix. But it looked interesting. I like Sarah Paulson. I'm not. She doesn't draw me in to where I got to see it because she's in it.
Well, no, she's not. I'm not going to go see something special because she's in it. But on a positive, she is always good.
But she's always good. I got to give her that. She's always
great.
Yeah.
She pulls you in. You watch what she does on screen.
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, I'm gonna check it out. My wife was interested, and it's one of the things that we were planning to get around to. But I don't mind. I would definitely probably check out the pilot this week. So yeah.
Well, it's worth it to see it. I'd be interested to say what you said, and then other than that, I did. You know what it is? I watched because we didn't have the show last week.
Yeah,
I did watch the Truman Show.
Oh, I love that movie.
Jim Carrey and Laura Linney and Ed Harris playing God.
Yeah,
I thought I think the movie's great.
Oh, it's great. I love that movie. I could watch it anytime it's on.
Well, that's why I stopped. It was on, and I stopped my day. It was incredible.
I'll just if I see it on a playlist that I have here, I'll instantly put it on. I love that movie.
What's your favorite? Okay, so. Jim Carrey. What's your favorite Jim Carrey movie?
Truman Show's up there. Dumb and Dumber is up there. The Mask.
The Mask made him.
The Mask made him. I as a kid, I went to The Mask for Halloween. I forget. That movie still makes me laugh. It's so the comedian.
I like the bad guy in there too, man. By the way, I can't think of his name, but he's always a bad guy.
He was in Training Day as a bad guy too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, he was the guy. He was one of the shooters.
The shooters, huh? But
So
yeah, I would say favorite kind of dramatic role, I guess, would probably be the Truman Show, if you call it drama. Comedy, I had to go with Dumb and Dumber. But notable mention, The Mask. But yeah,
he's done a lot of stinking.
He's done.
I mean, he's done 45. He has 45 credits, dude.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
But I would have to say, for me, just looking here, what I would like the best. I thought I liked Bruce Almighty.
That was great too.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that was great too.
Liar, Liar. But I really like Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah,
Mine.
Yeah.
Because Charlie Kaufman is one of my favorite screenwriters.
Yeah.
And I really thought that was one of my favorite movies of his personally. Truman Show too, but the supporting cast of the Truman Show is killer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we didn't talk about war movies.
No, we'll do the next one.
Let me ask you a quick question. We'll talk about war movies next week. Would you consider Schindler's List a war movie?
Oh, definitely.
How about Gladiator?
Yes.
Because it deals with the Roman movement, and it starts with the biggest battle of fixing the.
You got actual historical wars in there, so yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we'll talk about our favorite war movies next week.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington isn't one of them.
Yeah.
And have a good day, man.
Yeah, you too. Good talking to you.
Good.
Yeah, we'll see you.
And we'll put up all our recommendations, and everything we've watched this week will be up in a day or two, and please check them out. We don't watch bad stuff.
Yeah. All right, man. Take care.
Everything.